Vaishali madam, please begin.
Okay. Hello, good morning everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. Today, Applied Sciences and Humanities Department have scheduled webinar on how to get hired. I, Vaishali Nathwani, would like to introduce today's guest speaker, Fatima Williams. She is a purpose-driven career strategist, a recruitment operation manager, and a career coach. She has worked as a senior global human resources lead handling recruitment operations to provide steady leadership and top talent for many corporations located within challenging regions in the Middle East and India. Her expertise in global recruitment has sourced world-class talent to grow the business, while the knowledge-based development programs she innovates develop the competence of that talent. She brings the human touch to the learning process. Her passion is to help and create a purpose-driven world around her. She currently coaches individuals, train teams down the path of change, and enable them to fit comfortably in the project or job assigned to them. Using her career growth and people handling skills, she talks about the importance of embracing change as and when it comes to reducing individual resistance and revolutionizing corporate culture. She loves to write to inspire people to believe in themselves and shares her experience to enhance confidence and motivation. She helps people recognize and embrace their true potential and believe in themselves. According to her, she do not grow alone, but she used their immediate surrounding and the people around her to grow and shine. And when she shines, she shed light, enabling others to see a well-defined path. It's a privilege to welcome you here, ma'am. Hello, Fatima, ma'am.
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am. You're perfectly audible. Yes. So it's a privilege to welcome you here, ma'am. And you can start with the session.
We can start the session. Is everybody able to hear me and see me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, fantastic. So, hi everyone. I'm Fatima Williams, and I am a career coach and a recruitment operations manager. And I'm very happy for the university for giving me an opportunity to let you know what is the important strategies and tips that you need for you to get started on your, career journey. Because one of the most important things that we need to do is get ourselves prepared. So I'm going to just share my screen here in a moment. Just give me one quick minute. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Is there
Fantastic. So just Janitary Windows. So the agenda of the session today is primarily to give you an in-depth on resumes, understand the job market as a whole, and also, to take a couple of Q&As at the end of the session. I believe Ms. Vaishali will assist with that. And so let's go ahead. If you have any questions that are coming in, I would like, I've shared a Google form with the panelists, which is a webinar feedback session. And you can actually add some of your questions on this form as well. And the panelists can keep the questions coming into the chat box, and I will respond to them during the last 10 minutes of the session. So let's get started. So, 1 second. Okay, perfect. So this is me. I'm Fatima Williams, and I started my career as a teacher, and I moved on to work as a HR in HCL, one of the biggest corporate companies in India. I worked with them for almost 5 years before I moved to the Middle East. So I currently work as a HR and recruitment manager. And I also provide career coaching where I coach career professionals to get started on their career journey. In fact, I would say my 10 years of HR experience and recruitment experience has told me exactly what you as a student or a career professional need to do, to get yourself prepared for this journey that you are on. So I would like you guys to connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, social media. You can search for me as Fatima Williams, or you can search for me as @Dream Career Coach. You can find me on Facebook as well. I am on Facebook, and I constantly share a lot of career tips, the industry news, what's happening in the market. So it'll be a great way for you to stay connected with me as well. Now, this is me on LinkedIn. For those of you who do not know LinkedIn, I would say that LinkedIn is the #1 hiring platform at the moment, where 53 million companies are registered, and there are over, I think, 83 million users, and it keeps 8.3 million users, 8.3 million users, yeah. A lot of people actually are registered on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is a platform where you can actually find career opportunities, and I'm pretty sure you guys are aware of it. But one of the most important part of LinkedIn is to understand that you can meet a lot of people like HR managers, managers of your future company that you want to work to. You can connect with them now itself. Even when you're studying, you can connect with them, and you can start following them on LinkedIn to understand what is the journey that they have been in. What is the steps? You can go through their profile and see, how did they get into this particular role. In fact, if you have a fantastic LinkedIn profile where everything is filled out, you can actually connect with more people, because they'll be more open to connecting with you, and they will understand that you're a student, first of all. So students are always, welcomed by career professionals like us. We love connecting with students, and also students who are coming into the job market. So you are actually in the most golden period of job market. Even though there's a recession, there's pandemic, and there's a lot of stuff happening, you should understand that the job market itself is very good. It's just that certain industries are struggling. For example, the IT industry is doing very, very well. The hospitality industry is coming back into full form. And there are various other small and startups, small businesses and startups that are constantly, being new companies are being created every single day. So the opportunities are there in the market. The question is, how can they find you? As a student, how can they find you? So LinkedIn is the #1 platform as a student where you can be found, rather than relying on job platforms. My 10 years of experience, my #1 advice is make sure that you're found on LinkedIn, and you can connect with all the people that you want to, the companies that you want to work with as well. If you'd like to know more about LinkedIn in depth, you can always join my upcoming webinars. I conduct sessions on LinkedIn, how to use LinkedIn, and how to find jobs on LinkedIn. So you can stay in touch with me, and you can register for my webinars. So at the end of the session, I would love to give you 2 guides. One is a guide to create your dream career plan, and also another one is a checklist for your LinkedIn and CV that will help you get hired. So I will share this with the panelists, and you can use the link to download these guides. So I currently conduct coaching sessions. So we have a website called jobreadinesshub.com, where we prepare students like you for the future of work. And today, during the session, I will try to bring on, a guest speaker if we have time to tell you more about what we do. So let's get into the session. If you're a new graduate, you're like, okay, let me see what I have to learn to get prepared for this job market, then this is the session for you, because one of the starting points of getting hired or finding a job or anything that you want to do is to ensure that people can find you. Okay, so the number one document where people find you is your resume. So you send your CV out to HR managers, and you apply on job portals. So when you send it to them, they have to read your CV, and they have to give you the opportunity that you want. So without a compelling CV, it's very difficult for a HR manager to understand what you do as a student or a career professional. So you might ask me, I'm just a student, what can I do? Well, you can actually sign up for a lot of internships and part-time opportunities while you're employed itself to gain understanding of what the job market is. So try to explore the job market, but the starting point for everything is your resume. So without your resume, you cannot get into any opportunities. Your resume and your LinkedIn profile, these are the two platforms where currently you can actually get into a lot of opportunities. Yes, job portals are there. There are many job portals like Naukri, Indeed, Gulf Talent, Monster.com. But all these websites put you among the 95% of the people out there. So how do you stand out? How do you become that top 5% where HR and employers can see you? These are the two platforms: your resume and your LinkedIn profile. So I would like to tell you guys that if you have any questions, please go ahead and type it in the comment box, and we will answer them at the end of the session. Okay. So systems work, people fail. So this journey that you're on, you must understand you are going to get a lot of rejections, and it's okay. Rejections are okay. Rejections means you're doing something right, something right. So you need to just fix your strategy, your approach. It is not about you as a student, what you've done, but it's about how you put yourself out there and what value you can bring. All right. So focus is your most valuable asset. So don't be cheap on your journey. If you have to get some certifications, if you have to upskill yourself, if you have to get a mentor or a coach, or you have to talk to people, equip yourself with that skills every single day so that you can stand out among the 5% of the candidates. Don't be among the 95% of the candidates who do not, who are like conforming. Conformity is actually a thing. Everybody does the same thing. So you do something different, and that is standing out on your LinkedIn profile and your resume. All right. So you should leave now, actually, if you think that, you know what, I can just send my resume to somebody and they can write them. I just need formatting help. I just want a resume to copy and paste. Or, after this 45 session, if I pitch you some more training and you're like not interested, you don't want to learn, you're not interested in upskilling yourself, then I would say this is not the session for you, because this session is for somebody who is truly interested to learn and upskill yourself and get hired. All right. So why did I quit my career as a recruitment manager full time and do career coaching full time? Is because I wanted to help students and career professionals like you get hired. Because although, excuse me, although I hired so many students, so many career professionals, I rejected 90% of them. And the number one reason to reject candidates and students, or anybody for that matter, who applies for a job is their CV, because their CV doesn't tell us what exactly they do. And as a hiring manager, I'm more interested in saving my time, and making sure that I find the right candidates. So I go to the CVs which have all the information and I screen those CVs. So you must understand the importance of why I'm telling you that it's important for your CV to be on spot. All right. So your experience at this point doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have no experience at all. As long as you can have a compelling resume and you can explain to the hiring manager why they should hire you, these two reasons are more than enough for you to actually get hired. It's all about how you sell yourself. And some of the biggest blocks that we feel as a, when we apply for jobs are fear, we lose focus, we think that we are not worthy enough, or maybe we think, is this what I'm meant to do? Or maybe there's a lack of confidence or money. All these blocks, they can be eliminated if you plan a strategy for your job search. So when you're studying itself, or when you're a student itself, you start planning your job search strategy where you build a plan of where you want to work. Pick 10 to 15 companies that you want to work for. Follow them everywhere on social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever the company is, YouTube. Follow them everywhere and try to understand the company and try to connect with the staff on LinkedIn and ask them, what is it like to work in your company? Can you give me a little bit of insights, like what are the top skills that are needed? When you talk to people, you get an understanding. And who is the better person to do that than a HR or a manager himself? Like, let's say you want to get hired as a product intern. You want to become a product manager someday. So you can start connecting to product managers on LinkedIn by searching for them. Maybe I could show you a demo during the session as well. So some of the learning outcomes here are understanding the resume, okay? And also an intentional resume is a call to action for the hiring manager, which means when I see a resume that has everything in it, I just pick up the phone and I call the candidates. So 10 seconds is what is needed for me to decide. In fact, 6 seconds is what is needed for me to decide if I need to call this particular candidate or not. So that's how quickly we scan resumes. Okay. So what I would ideally like you to learn from the session are these things. Hopefully we will find enough time for that. Yeah. So let's move ahead. This is some of the code of honor in my community, in our community, where we have a lot of career professionals. And we believe that anything you do in your life, you must have a code of honor which tells you that you're doing the right thing, you're following the right process, and you're doing the right strategies. So you can have the freedom to dream, you can be anything you want to be. The question is, do you believe in yourself? Because if you don't believe in yourself, as a hiring manager, I will understand that you are, exhibiting those characteristics during the interview. So confidence is the key. And the second thing is growth. You must always constantly try to grow in your skills, grow in your communication, grow in your rapport building, the way you speak to people, and have clarity. So the way you can get clarity is being connected with top industry experts, understanding the market, being updated with the news, and you can do this on LinkedIn. And another code of honor in the community is speed of implementation, which is when you learn something, try to apply it immediately. Don't wait for tomorrow or the after tomorrow. If you learn something about your resume today, open a Google Word document and start making your resume today itself. And the next code of honor is trust. Obviously, you have to understand who is this person who's giving me this advice. And you also have to trust yourself. Can I do this? Am I capable of this? So this is a very important code of honor that you need to, that if you uphold this in your life, you can go to great heights. And the final code of honor is contribution. So when you learn something, go ahead and teach someone. So in case somebody is not in the session today, and you may think, oh, this person, he's been looking for a job for a long time. So maybe I can share some strategies with him. Or what you can do is you can go on Facebook and type everything that you've learned in the session today so that somebody else can read it and they can benefit. So always try to help somebody because that will help you in your job search journey as well. So why do you need to rewrite your CV? Because you can get noticed more, you can get hired faster, and you can get guaranteed results. Okay. Now, I want to share with you some of the challenges that experienced professionals face. Actually, these are people who have 5 years, 6 years, 10 years experience, and they tell me that these are the challenges that they face. And one of the main reasons for them facing this challenge is they don't have a proper LinkedIn resume, or they don't know how to perform well during the interview. And when you get the right coaching and training for this, you will be able to, equip yourself with the skills. So why are you not getting interview calls? Why is the hiring manager not calling you? All of these questions are answered by your resume. Okay. So those people who have applied for jobs in the past, they tell me that they have sent their resume into the ghost town. So it's literally, a space where you think that, okay, I send my CV and I'm going to get an interview call, right? But when you send your CV, if your CV is not matching the job description or the role that you're doing, then the hiring manager has no inclination to give you a call. In fact, right at this moment, I'm going to share with you something called as an ATS system. This is called the application tracking system. So this is a system that hiring managers use to filter resumes. Okay. So when you apply for a job, all the resumes that you send come into this particular platform. So this is just a demo account that I'm sharing with you. But if you see here, there are so many candidates, and I can actually use my own system to first of all find a candidate. So before I go into the market and I search, before I go to LinkedIn, or before I use Indeed.com or Naukri.com or Monster.com, before I go to all these platforms, the first thing I do is go into my applicant tracking system. So the applicant tracking system is a software that collects all the CVs that people apply jobs to. So wherever I'm sharing a link and you click on apply and you get an application form, right? And when you fill in this application form, all of these applications come into this system. So let's say if I want to hire somebody, the first thing I do is I go and I search here. Let's say I want to hire an engineer. Okay. So I type engineer here in the search box. I can even type job titles over here. So maybe I can just type it over here, engineer. And then if I click on search, you can actually see the CVs that are coming up over here. Yeah. So let me show you the jobs that we post. So for example, I have created a couple of jobs here. Now, if I want to find CVs, right? The first thing I would do is go here, click on intelligent matches. So every platform works differently. Each and every applicant tracking system works differently. So you have to have a proper CV in a Word document, which is most easier for the ATS to pick up. You can actually use PDF as well. But when you use PDF documents, sometimes some of the text, they get converted or they are not captured properly into the system. And thereby you actually miss out on the, getting notice on this applicant tracking system. And I'll show you how. So when I click on intelligent matches on my ATS system, the system will recommend the top 10% in my CV batch. Okay. So whatever candidates or whatever CVs that are coming in, all of these applications will come into the system, and I will just search for CVs. And if you see here, there is a percentage of 100%, 99%, 98%. So I will be more inclined to look at CVs that are in the top 10%. So how do you get your CV in the top 10%? is the million-dollar question, right? So you can get your CV in the top 10% of the ATS by ensuring that your CV has all the key points mentioned in it. So that's what I'm going to explain to you. So the purpose of your resume should tell the person who you are, what kind of professional job that you want to work in, the experience you have, and if you don't have any experience, you can use your student experience, when you participated in projects, when you conducted any sessions during your college, or if you've been a part of workshops, anything that is significant where you show your skills. A drama where you conducted a drama session or you enacted in a play. These are all things which display your skills as a person who is able to easily communicate with the other person. Now, if you're in the IT industry and if you think, okay, I don't need to talk to people, that's absolutely fine. If you don't want to talk to people, you're just going to work on a system and be a back office person. In that case, also, you need to be visible by hiring managers for them to know you. And the best way to do that, if you are someone who is, shy to talk, get the words on your CV. And then you practice yourself. Every day, look into the mirror and tell yourself, for example, I am, a HR manager, or I am an engineer, whatever job title you want, you practice yourself, practice saying this to yourself in the mirror, and eventually you'll gain the confidence to do it. Okay. In fact, you can even talk to HR professionals like me. You can tell them, would you be interested to review my resume and tell me if my resume is up to the mark? Many people are ready to just look at your resume and tell you if it's good or not. So when you talk to experienced people, they will give you a feedback and you can start working on your resume. All right. So your education level, the skill sets you have, and the industries you worked on is very, very important. Now, writing a good resume is not using one CV to apply to many jobs. That is not a good resume. When you write a resume, you should have the job description of the job that you're applying to, and you have to tweak it to match with the key skills that are mentioned in a job. So, for example, I will share an example here. Okay, so job description is not pasting pasting the job description onto a good resume. That's not what a good CV is, and it's also not somewhere where you add a lot of colors or add fancy items. A CV, according to me, should be simple, plain, and it should sell your value as a person. What can you do? So writing a good resume is knowing how to sell yourself on paper, understanding the values, abilities, and unique, work that you have. What can you offer? What can you do for this person? And also to get into the hiring manager's head. So if I am hiring an intern, what am I looking at? What is this hiring manager looking at? What problem does she want to solve? Or what problem does he want to solve? So you try to understand the problem that they have. So maybe they are hiring you as a marketing intern. Okay. So in marketing, what I have to do? Do I have to promote the company's social media pages? Okay. So if that's the case, I will add an example of how I know how to use social media on my resume. So you have to give relevant examples to what is mentioned on the job description. So these are the top 3 strategies that I would like you to learn today. Get inside the hiring manager's head and understand how you can solve the hiring manager's problem. Number 2, understand the structure of a resume. And number 3, how you can get the hiring manager to make a quick decision. So I have a question for you. Can you tell me, before you start your resume, what do you think you need to have to refer and look at first? What is the important document that you need? I think we could probably have one of the panelists answer these questions if it's coming in through the Facebook live stream. Do we have any questions so far? Ms. Vaishali, do we have any questions coming in the chat box?
No, ma'am.
At the moment. Okay, fantastic. If you have any questions, please do type it here because I'm not actually on Facebook, so I wouldn't know what are the chat messages coming in. Okay, so moving on to the next, before we move on to the resume, I want you to understand that the job market is strong. No matter what the news is saying, the media is saying, yes, there is recession. Yes, there are people getting laid off. There is something called as a great resignation, where in the US, many people have been resigning their jobs. Even where I work in the UAE, many people are resigning their jobs. So when people are resigning their jobs, it means there are more jobs in the market. And if there are more jobs in the market, you have to understand how you can position yourself to stand out among the rest of the people. A recent research on LinkedIn shows that hiring has increased. In fact, during the pandemic, IT has become one of the top industries to work in because remote work has become a new thing. But even though many people are being called back into the office, you must understand that the job market is strong. So it all depends upon how you position yourself. So the question is, do you believe in yourself? Do you think you can get hired? Okay. So the Indian IT industry saw a 52% rise in skilled professionals. And according to the recent Skillsoft survey, 59% of the respondents who switched jobs, they said it's because of lack of growth and development. So when you start applying for jobs, please look at companies that have a good, what do you call that, social standing, a good presence in the market. Go ahead, check out their LinkedIn profile, check out their Facebook page, check out their Instagram page, check out their company website. Try to understand if this company has been in the news recently. When you do all this, you can understand if a company is doing well. Now, a lot of big companies, they even add their financial data, that company growth status on the platforms. So you can go to Crunchbase or you can go to many other websites where you can check out the company's financial history to check, is this company growing? Will I be happy here? And another way for you to understand if you will be happy in a company is to talk to employees who are already working in the company. So let's say I'm working in HCL and you want to work in HCL. You come and try to find people who are working in HCL and send them a request. And how can you do this? You can do this on LinkedIn. Okay. So you can go on LinkedIn and you can search for people on LinkedIn and you can connect with them. So from the month of December, actually the unemployment rate had gone up, but there is good news. Okay. The good news is India's hiring activity shows a 22% growth last month. So this is a recent data from Naukri. It says that the demand for entry-level talent continues to be the highest. So you should understand that you have many opportunities coming to you. So how do you choose the right opportunity? You have to choose the right opportunity based on what you love to do. What are you skilled at? What are you good at? So make an inventory of your skills and ask yourself, what are the top 5 skills that I want to be known for? So I am known for getting an excellent, getting people hired in their dream jobs. So I am a fantastic interview expert. I'm a career expert. I can give you all things based on career. I'm a resume expert. I'm a LinkedIn expert. So I have 4 expertise or more than that, in fact. So if I want to outline my top 5, these are the 5, I'm a career expert, I'm a LinkedIn expert, I'm a resume expert, I'm an interview expert, I'm also a communication expert. So if I want to outline, I have these 5 skills. So what are your top 5 skills? You always have this handy. So whenever somebody talks to you, you have your elevator pitch. Your elevator pitch is that 3 minutes where you get to talk to someone and you say, hi, I'm Fatima and I am so and so. So when you're telling them an introduction about yourself, please don't tell them, I am Fatima, I'm from India, I studied BA, MA. Please don't say that, okay? This is the traditional way of saying an introduction. If I have your CV, if you have sent me your CV, I know which city you are from, and I also know what is, your educational qualification. So I don't need to know how many brothers and sisters you have. I don't need to know all that. Don't give me family history and all of these things when you're introducing yourself. I see a lot of students, they introduce their family also, when they are introducing themselves. An introduction is about what you want to do. So you could say, what is your introduction? What do you want to be known for? I'll give you some examples now. So these are some of the fastest growing industries according to LinkedIn. So for those of you who don't know how to use LinkedIn, I definitely recommend that you sign up for my webinar, which is LinkedIn Mastery webinar. And in this webinar, I will teach you in depth everything that you need to understand about LinkedIn. Okay. So as for LinkedIn, these are the 5 industries that are growing rapidly for entry level jobs. So those of you who are in entry jobs, make a note of these industries. Okay. And you can actually focus on one of these industries to start your job search plan. Now, this is not a top secret, but I would consider it as a top secret because even though people know this, they don't do it. What is it? It is called as upskilling yourself. So upskilling yourself is key to staying relevant. Let me give you an example, okay? So you have to ask yourself when you apply for a job, does my skill solve that problem? Does it resonate with them? Does it bring it closer to their goals? So what are their goals? What is the hiring manager's goal? Their goal is to hire somebody for a position. So what problem do you have to solve? Okay. So you have to ask these questions to understand if you are the right person for the role before you apply for a role. So since skills are changing rapidly, look at this graph. Okay. So this graph here says that from 2015, jobs have been, jobs have been increasing. It's just in the upward trend. It's not at all reducing. So you have to understand that. One second, let me just erase this. Okay. So since skills have been on the uphill, you have to remember what are the skills that I need to have. How can I upskill myself? So LinkedIn data shows that 60% of talent is found on LinkedIn using skills. Okay. So let me share an example with you here. So let me look at LinkedIn. So while LinkedIn is loading, okay. So here we have LinkedIn. I'm just gonna quickly, since I'm talking a lot about LinkedIn, I wanna show you a little bit of LinkedIn here, and you can prepare yourself on the skill section. So this is my LinkedIn profile, which you are seeing right now live on my screen. Now I have over 34,000 followers, and you are more than welcome to follow me because I am constantly helping career professions like you to understand how to position yourself in the market. All right. So there is a section here on the bottom that is called About. Now, in this section, you can tell hiring managers, what do you want to be known for? What is it you want to be hired for? What are your, this is like a talent brand summary. A summary which is like your elevator pitch. So you need to add this in your About section. And there is a section on the bottom that says skills. Okay. So over here, you can actually add more than 50 skills, whatever skills that you want to be hired for. Those 5 skills should be in the top 5. So for me, it's career development coaching, career counseling, employee learning and development, training and development And if you see, people will endorse you for these skills if you have anybody who can tell, who can vouch for you, who can say, yes, this person is good at communication skills. So what you can do is you can connect to all your professors who are in your current semester or in your last semester, and you can tell them, Professor, can you please give me a skill recommendation for communication if I'm good at communication? So they can go ahead and endorse you on your communication skills. So there are almost 50 skills that you can add on LinkedIn. Okay, I have added all the 50. So make sure that you add all the 50 skills over there so that you will be able to, understand and get recommended by LinkedIn to hiring managers and employers. So almost 60% of hirers find that using skills is one of the most important way to hire. So let me give you an example, okay? Now, when you understand what your skills are, what are your top skills are, you will be able to know how to switch from one career to another as well. For example, if a cashier wants to become a customer service guy, he has to understand what are the common skills that I have. And that is why it's important for you to make an inventory of all your skills. So you can use the skills worksheet that we have on our website to understand what are your top skills as well. So let's go ahead to the next slide over here. I'm sorry, are you able to hear me? I think there was an internet issue. All right. So moving on to the next slide over here. As I told you, rejection is a sign that you need to shift your approach. You need to understand your company's needs and you need to prepare and plan. Okay. So I'm talking a lot about skills in this session, and the reason is you need to mention all these skills on your CV as well. Now, for example, in 2015, let's take a supply chain analyst job. In 2015, data analyst was one of the top skills. But today, for the same job, Microsoft Power BI is a very important skill. Okay, so you have to understand what are the top skills that are there in the market today. Okay, and if these skills, do you have these skills? And if you don't have these skills, go to platforms which give you the right qualification and upskill yourself. There are many free websites like Coursera, Udemy, EDX. They provide you free training. Okay, if you want to get a certificate, you can then pay for the certificate and get it. But the important thing is understanding that you know the skill. That person has the skill and he can do the job. So why is resume screening so widely used? It's because it narrows down a large pool of candidates. It reduces time to fill and it helps you assess the importance and effectiveness of a job post. Okay. Now, these are some of the challenges that we face as a hiring manager. There's too much volume. There's too many CVs. And the way we solve this problem is using an ATS. Okay. Now, the head of talent acquisition at Microsoft, he says, don't send blanket applications. Now, what are blanket applications? One person applying for 100 jobs. That is called blanket applications. And when you do that, you will, trust me, you will face rejection and you will be upset. So rather than doing that, please go ahead and use select the jobs that you want. Pick 10 companies, follow them, and when they start hiring, you apply to these jobs. So when you target your search, you will prepare yourself well, and thereby you will get more results. Okay, so let's go ahead. The ability to understand yourself and to explain yourself to somebody else in a way that's exciting and challenging, and it's a very important skill. It's because when somebody says, can you tell me about yourself? When they do that, that means they want to know you, they want to understand you. So you have to be able to explain yourself in a compelling manner, in a manner that makes them say, I want this guy in my team. All right. So it's always about the problem. What problem? Nobody cares about, what we've done. What they care about is what we can do for them. Okay. What we've done is results. What we've done, what results we've done. They care about the results that we've done in the past. But for you as a fresher, for most of you, because you're studying right now in the university, you don't have to worry about past experience. So it's all about the present experience that you have. And also it's about the problem that you can solve. Okay. So an open position, a job opening is there. That means there's a problem. So what is the problem that you can solve? So please understand that what I'm going to share with you right now has helped many career professionals get hired. Okay. So you have to ask yourself, what is the role? Who are you? Who do you help? What are your responsibilities? What is something unique about you? And have you created similar results in the past? Now, for example, if you want to get hired as a, let's say, social media intern, in social media, what do you want to do? Do you want to do SEO? Do you want to do campaigns? Do you want to do creating content? You have to break down your niche. Okay, you have to break it down to understand your niche. So this is a data by LinkedIn. It says that CVs that were detailed and result based and LinkedIn profiles that were completely filled, they had even more chances to get noticed by hiring managers. So this is a journey of a resume. You start here at the sourcing section. You start here at the sourcing section and you go down to the offer. Now, these two sections, these are where people don't make it. They don't make the cut. And these two steps is where the ATS helps hiring managers make a decision. So for you to come to this particular screen, the screening stage or the interview stage, the first thing you need to fix is your resume. Okay. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. So let's go ahead to the next slide. Do we have any questions coming in? Now, these are some of the undeniable tips of an ATS. It helps us so much that we absolutely fall in love with it. So your goal is to beat the ATS. You need to be able to introduce yourself in 30 seconds or 30 seconds, 3 minutes, and your resume should be reviewable in 6 seconds. And all of these certifications, qualifications should stand out. Okay. So the structure of a result-based resume should have all of these important points. The profile, your profile, professional experience, if you have any. If you don't have any professional experience, please go ahead and gain some experience during your college itself, when you're studying itself. Try to get some internships, sign up for freelance jobs. You can go on freelancer.com, Upwork, Fiverr. These are all websites where you can offer your services and practice the skills that you want to learn. And there are people who will actually give you a chance to try these opportunities out. So these are some of the important things that you need to have in your contact section. Your name. Now, if your name is difficult to pronounce, please add the pronunciation in a bracket on the resume. Because I have noticed that sometimes a hiring manager hesitates to call a person because they don't know how to pronounce their name. It is actually true. Like if there's somebody's name who's like so big, Satya Narayana Palanivel or something like that. It's like some people cannot pronounce those words, or if they might feel that if I pronounce it wrong, the candidate might be upset. So to avoid these challenges, add your pronunciation. Also add which city and state you are from. No need to add your address. Please don't give them your door number, your street name, and all these things. It's not required. Today, information is gold. and your information is gold. So give them only the necessary information. Once you get the offer letter and once you are hired, during the background verification process, you can actually give them your address if they need it. Okay. But on your CV, you don't need to write your door number and your street name. Add one phone number, because if you add more than one phone number, it becomes confusing which phone number to add. And also a professional email address. Please don't add, I am fun at gmail.com or I love this at gmail.com, or let's say if I type Fatima beautiful at gmail.com. So please don't type funny email addresses. When you start applying for a job, create one Gmail ID only for job search and use that email only for job search, because when you start applying for jobs, you will be getting a lot of job application emails, and you don't want it to be mixed up with your primary email which you use. And finally, LinkedIn custom URL. So if you look at my LinkedIn, I have customized the URL to Dream Career Coach, because that's my job title. You can actually customize your job title so that people can easily find you on LinkedIn. Okay. Now, this is an example of the top section of a CV. The top section of a CV has to have your email, your name, no cheesy emails, basically your phone number, your location, city, and your LinkedIn URL. Okay. And in the top section, you have to give them an introduction. So you could say, I am a cloud engineer and an IT security specialist with your top 3 skills. So let me break this down. Okay, so this is an example of a resume. For those of you who would like to get an access to this, I'm just going to share the template to the panelists so that they could give you the link. There are 2 checklists that I'm giving you. One is a resume template and another one is a LinkedIn and a CV checklist, which I've just shared with the panelists. They will share it with you on the chat box. Now, this is how a resume should be. Okay, so the top section, are you able to view my screen?
Yes.
Well, Ms.
visible.
Vaishali,
Yes,
Mr.
yes,
Hemant?
sir, visible.
Yes, madam, it is visible.
It's okay. It's readable, right? At
Yes.
Zoom, it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So this is the top section of a CV. Now, in the top section, you have to give them an introduction about yourself. So let me show you, the screen in depth. 1 second. You can get this template by clicking on the link that I've shared. It's a resume template, and this template will help you to prepare for your CV. Okay, but if you are looking for even more advice on what you have to mention in depth, I need at least 2 hours to explain that. So if you'd like to know more about in depth on resumes, please do sign up for my webinars. Okay, I always post my webinars on LinkedIn and Facebook. So if you're following me on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook, you will be able to access my webinars. Okay, so coming back to this particular section, the first section is what I call as a talent brand summary. Okay, so if you look at this section here, actually it's just this part, but since this is a template, I have given a lot of explanation. That's why you have so much information. But the only thing is, it's just a 2 lines, or it could be 6 lines, depending. If you're an experienced professional, you will write more. But if you're, let's say you have a couple of years experience, you can just write 2 lines in the introduction. And this is going to replace something called as objective on your CV. So traditionally, people write objective. My objective is to join a company where I'm doing blah, blah, blah. I would like to exhibit my skills. So that is not relevant, in my opinion. So instead of that, you can write something called as a talent brand summary, And I'm going to show you an example of that now. Hold on. Okay. So, for example, your job title could be desktop engineer, Microsoft Dynamics Service Specialist, or Exchange Analyst. Whatever your job title is, mention that clearly on top and the dates. When you're adding dates, your month and your year. Now, if you don't have work experience, what can I do, right? The question is, you have to gain some kind of experience during your college. Because today, we are living in a digital world where everything is accessible. If you can play YouTube, watch videos on Instagram, go on Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, you can definitely spend time, at least 30 minutes a day, to try and find yourself an internship during the last 6 months before you pass out of your college to apply the skills that you are learning. In fact, I am pretty sure the university is helping you get a lot of internships, but you can do it on your own as well. Because when you do it on your own, you will know what you want and you will go after it. Let's say if you say, I want to be hired in Microsoft, pick Microsoft and start to build a plan. Okay. So I am sharing with you two guides. One guide is the Ultimate Dream Career Guide. Now, in this guide, you will have some templates that I've shared. And in these templates, you will have a planner. So you can use this planner to plan your job search. Okay. So if you have accomplishments, you can group them. If you have gaps in your employment, explain them. Let's say if somebody goes off to get married, you can explain them marriage break, career break. Mention your breaks on your CV. Now, how do I stand out is the question, right? So let me go to the talent brand summary since we are explaining that at the moment. Okay. So this is the talent brand summary, which is the top section of your CV. So for those of you who want to understand what is a talent brand summary, it's basically the top section on your CV, that introduction part. Okay. So in this section, you're going to answer the question, tell me about yourself. So you could use this formula. In fact, take a screenshot right now and keep this, because this formula is also in the template that I'm sharing with you, the resume template. You use this formula to give an introduction about yourself. So I am a dash and a dash. Here's an example. I am a holistic cloud security thought leader. This is for an experienced professional, right? You could say I am a networking professional or IT security specialist. I am a HR coordinator or a payroll specialist. So I am a conversation architect. Try to get yourself a nice, attractive job title which explains the job role that you're doing. Okay. So here is an example of a talent brand summary using this formula. I am a dash and a dash. So for example, if I want to explain about myself, I will say I am a career coach and a recruitment manager. I help career professionals and employers solve hiring and employment related problems using the skills interview mastery, career coaching, and recruitment mastery. So whatever my top 3 skills are, I will use that in the bottom section. So here's an example of somebody who is a cloud engineer. This is an experienced person's introduction. Okay. So I am a cloud thought leader because he has more than 10 years experience. He explains about what are the top 2 job titles, that he has. So I am a cloud security leader, cloud engineer, and an IT security specialist. So he wants to target these 3 jobs, in fact. Okay. And he's explaining his top 3 skills: MS Dynamics, Azure, CISM, CISA. So these are the 4 certifications he has. Now, in the next line, he mentions, I help. So who do you help? I help businesses get the most value out of their computing investments by ensuring that users are productive and servers and networks run smoothly. And these are the examples. So for you to give examples, you have to gain some experience during your current role. If you don't have any experience, no problem. You can eliminate this section and you can just write this part. What is your commitment? So you have to understand what is this company value and what is that your commitment to them. All right. So I would like to know if anyone has any questions on this, Ms. Vaishali.
No, madam, not right now. Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any questions so far on the chat box?
No, madam, not right now.
Okay. So how is the what are the students saying so far? Are they able to understand the session? Is it informative?
Yes, madam, it is informative, but you want to communicate during this webinar or at the end of this session?
I actually wanted to explain about the talent brand summary. So I
Yes.
can start taking questions now.
Fine. So one or two questions are there from we had received, ma'am. The
Okay.
one is you talked about questions during interview, right? But you told about that how to introduce yourself
Your
and
voice is
your
a little bit low. Can you speak up?
hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Yes. So you talked about how to introduce ourselves during the interview,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if someone asks what are the weaknesses of you,
Uh-huh.
yes. So what is the should we say the truth of ourselves, or what is the way to answer that question?
Okay. So when someone asks you about your weakness, first of all, for the weakness, you also have to have the solution, right? So let's say I am not very good at presentation skills, okay? So that is something I can explain as a weakness because as a HR manager, I may have to present a lot of presentations like this to my employees or something like that. Now, what I could say is my weakness. I have, when I talk about my weakness, I will say that I have this particular weakness. Let's say I struggle a little bit with my presentation skills, but I have been working on them, and I have presented almost 3 to 5 sessions where I've successfully learned my presentation skills and I'm working on them. So whenever you talk about your weakness, there should be a but. So the but will explain to them how you are going to solve that weakness and how you have solved that weakness in the past. So let's say if your weakness is the communication skills, and if you consider that as a weakness, you could tell them, I struggle a little bit communicating with people, but I have actually been working on joining clubs, which are career clubs, Toastmaster clubs, LinkedIn groups, where I get an opportunity to speak to people, and I have been working on improving my skills. In fact, I've been doing this for the last 3 to 6 months, and I can see a considerable improvement in my communication skills as well. So how does that answer sound to you guys? Does it sound good?
Yes, ma'am. Perfectly fine.
I can actually share with you a guide which you can use as well. Let me just show you. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can let me know. Yeah.
The second question is, ma'am, which is the best language to communicate during an interview? Because nowadays you can see that English is more preferable language.
Yeah.
But yes, there have some constraints for students to speak in English, or they don't have confidence, right? So should they utter in English if it is comfortable or not, or it's better to use the language that have confidence to speak?
See, it actually depends upon the job that you're applying to. Now, if you are applying to a role where, let's say, you're a HR professional, or let's say they want to be a professor like you, or they want to be someone who grows. So it depends upon the job role. So you're talking about communication, right? During the language. Uh, so let's say I want to apply as a teacher in an English medium school. Of course, I have to answer in English during the interview. So you have to understand the job market and the company culture. Sometimes there are companies where the culture is quite comfortable. Let's say if they want to work as an IT security specialist, maybe everybody in the office will talk in the regional language. You have that happens, right? So even like let's say if somebody is there from a similar state, you immediately start talking in Hindi or you start talking in Tamil or whatever the regional language you have. But for you to enter into the interview uh, stage where you communicate with a hiring manager, that stage has to be in English. So there are a lot of YouTube videos which I am making right now where I explain on how you can actually improve your communication skills as well. Now, what you can do is you can try talking to people and doing like an interview rapport. Like for example, Miss Vaishali, I could talk to you. I could tell you, ma'am, can I speak to you like for 10 minutes every day just to give you my introduction? Now, let's say if I feel uncomfortable to tell about myself, the talent brand summary which I shared with you, I can prepare this talent brand summary on a piece of paper. I will keep it with me and I will practice. Because your talent brand summary is what is the main thing that you have to explain during the interview to express your communication skills. Now, to express your IT skills, of course, they will give you technology, technical test assessments, and all of that. And also, many companies today they use language test assessments. So you can practice your communication on websites like India Bix and actually just go on Google and type free career assessments and you will get lots of examples on how you can improve your communication. And I'll tell you something, it's very important to understand the other person who's speaking in English and for you to respond in English. Uh, it's because maybe you have a goal to grow in your career, you want to become a manager someday or you want to have your own business, or you get married tomorrow, you have to speak to your children in English. English is something that has become a part of our regular life right now. So if you don't improve your English skills, then you will be in that 95% of the people who don't want to be in the top 5%. So I'm not saying that English is like very, very important for your life. No, it's not important for your life. There are many people who just live by their regional language. So the question is, what do you want? How do you want your life to be? How do you want your career to be? Does it sound good, Ms. Vaishali? Right?
Yes.
Do we have any more questions?
Not right now, ma'am. So you can continue.
Right now. Okay, if how many students are right now with us on Facebook?
On Facebook, I have not seen that, but I am in the
You're
second.
not able. Okay, so let me just give a quick wrap up over here. Now, for those of you, 1 second. Uh, I just before we go to the final slide, I wanted to give you a formula for you to remember when you are writing your resume. This is a formula. So the formula is job title, accomplishments, and outcomes. Okay. Um, so in this formula, you will use an action verb, a project, and an outcome. So whenever you're explaining your professional experience, try to remember this formula. Okay. And the formula is action verb, project, evidence, and accomplishment statement. So whenever you explain a job description, you have to give them a detail on what exactly have you done. So for example, let's say if you are a data entry person and you organize technical files, you can say an action verb. So reorganize and maintain is an action verb. What is a project? Managing the technical files is an action verb, is a project. And the evidence is reducing the file search time by an average 3 hours. So you can reorganize and maintain 1,000 technical files, reducing the file search time by an average 3 hours weekly. So if you look at all these accomplishment statements, an accomplishment statement is basically something which tells what have you accomplished. So rather than saying what you've just done, you can give it with numbers, describe it with numbers. Okay. So you have to remember, when you are giving your elevator pitch, you have to answer the questions unique about you and how you can solve the problem. Okay. So this is an example of a resume template. So it's about what you think, what interests the employers, and what is relevant to the role. Now, this is an example of a reverse chronological resume. A reverse chronological resume, it shows the peak of your work experience first and then works its way back through the history and skills. So you can choose any one format. You can either use the reverse chronological, or you could use a functional resume. A functional resume, it focuses only on your skills, but it has little work experience. For someone like an intern, this is a functional resume is perfect because you don't have a lot of work experience. And this is a combination resume. A combination resume is a mix of both. You have functional and chronological. Did you say something, Ms. Vaishali? Okay. So what is the best resume format? You have to pick it based on your experience. Okay. And the most important mistake people make is not explaining enough on their resume. So when you explain yourself in depth, you will be able to explain more about yourself. Yeah. So if you would like to get in depth, knowledge on how to write your cover letters and how to write your resume, please go ahead and sign up for my upcoming webinars. I will in fact share my Facebook link here on the chat box. 1 second. I hope you're able to see me. All right. So let me share my Facebook link here. So this is my Facebook link where you can follow me on Facebook as well. And if you have, this is actually a private Facebook group that I have on Facebook. And in fact, if you are not a Facebook user, create an account on LinkedIn and follow me on LinkedIn. I post all of my webinars. It's very, very easy to create a LinkedIn profile. It's not complicated at all. And if you really want to work in the company of your dreams, the company that makes you happy, you have to prepare yourself and go after it. It's like planning a wedding or planning a marriage. When you're looking for a bride or a bridegroom, what do? You start looking, you search, right? And also you don't just send them a profile which has nothing. You clearly explain what it is that you can provide in that relationship. So like that, a resume should explain everything that you can do as a student. Even if you're a student, you have you have a lot of talent, you have a lot of skills. Build it up, gain the skills, and trust me, you will be able to do anything you want to do in your life. You just have to believe in yourself, and you have to plan. You don't plan to fail, you fail to plan. Benjamin Franklin said this. I want you to remember this. You don't plan to fail, you fail to plan. So if you start planning your career today, when you're in college, trust me, you will be very, very successful. And for you to be successful, you have to follow a system and you have to go to people who have experience in what you want to do or what you don't know to do. Ask them, oh, okay, you're good at this. Can you please explain to me? Or get a coaching, find a coach like me and sign up for coaching classes. And it's just a small investment that you're making today, but trust me, it will be a lifetime investment. Okay. So if there are no questions, I hope this webinar was very, very useful. I hope Mr. Hemal and Ms. Vaishali will call me back for more sessions. Maybe I can do another session on LinkedIn someday where I can give you, more advice on how to use LinkedIn as well. Yeah.
Ma'am, there are one or two questions.
Sorry.
There are one or two questions, ma'am.
Please go ahead. Tell me the question.
Yes. If the company asks or in the industry asks that why should we hire you, right? So
Yeah.
what is the best way to answer that question?
Your talent brand summary. That particular answer will answer the question, why should I hire you? So the talent brand summary exactly explains what problem you can solve and whose problem you will solve. So it depends upon the job that you're applying to. So let me give you an example over here. Okay. So now this is actually an example of a job description which doesn't give a lot of information. There is no introduction. It doesn't talk about your salary. It doesn't talk about your background of the company, nothing. Whereas this particular job description is good. It has an introduction. It tells you your duties and responsibilities. It tells you your competencies. It tells you what education requirement you have. So when you are applying to a company, you will understand from the job description itself if this HR manager has taken the time to do this. Now, maybe in India, they don't give a lot of value to have, in some companies, I'm not saying corporate companies like HCL or, Infosys, these are all good companies. They have proper job descriptions. But I'm talking about small scale startups. So these companies, you have to do a research. Okay. So to answer your question, how can I say, why am I good? Why should I hire you? Right. So go to the job description and you pick out why are they hiring for this job. So for example, if you look at this particular job description, they're looking for someone with strong project management skills. They're looking for someone to identify and develop customer and channel partner methodologies. They're looking for someone to turn key business challenges into researchable solutions. And they're looking for someone to identify key. So you have to pick out all the points that you can do in that job description. Why? And answer the question, why? Why are you the person for this role? Okay. So when you pick out some points from the job description, you pick it out and you answer the question, why? And add the answer of the why to this answer of why should I hire you? But when you start the why should I hire you answer, you should start it with your talent brand summary. Because your talent brand summary explains who you help, what you do, and what are your top 3 skills. So that is like your elevator pitch. Like let's say you're in a networking meeting or you went for a campus interview and suddenly you're meeting the CEO of Microsoft, or maybe you're meeting Shiv Nadar. He's there in the lift, in the elevator. If you want to make an impression, what will you do? You'll be like, "Hi, sir. I'm, a great fan of your work. I love the way Microsoft works, and I've read some of your articles in case, I've read a lot about you in the news, and I love the way your company operates. I love to be I'd love to work in your company. So he'll say, okay, tell me about yourself. In that moment, what can you say? You have the CEO of a company in the lift, in the elevator, and maybe you have 1 minute to 2 minutes before the lift is reaching the floor that you have to go to. So what will you say in that 1 to 2 minutes? That answer, that powerful answer, should answer the question, why should I hire you? Yeah, I hope that's helpful. So yeah, do we have, you said there's another question, right?
No, ma'am. Thank you. You have answered in this question only. So we have cleared all our doubts. So thank you so much, ma'am, for joining with us today. It was a very helpful session, and this session will surely help our students to move on further in life.
Thank you so much. I hope you've also got some insights, ma'am. Please go ahead and share it with all your students, because LinkedIn
Sure.
and the resume, these are the two key tools, like power tools that we have in our hand to get the job that we want, rather than going after the job that we get. So today, the job market has given students so much of opportunities. Like 10 years ago, when I finished my college, I did not have all these opportunities. I had to go with what is there in the market. So today they have lots of opportunities, but they have to know how to use it. And that is the key to success. All right?
Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining with us today and giving us your valuable time. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.